Welcome to Central Coast Newspapers Weekly News, 5 at 5, December 10, 2021. This week's theme is definitely about strikes and industrial action over wage stagnation, productivity and safety concerns. But first up, this week's many COVID restrictions are due to be released next week as the state government slowly acknowledges the reach of 95 double vaccination rate. This despite the emergence of the Omicron variant. So from Wednesday, the 15th, mandatory vaccination passports will not be required in stores and masks will not be mandatory at some establishments. Public transport and larger concerts will require masks, however. And the region's train services were disrupted on Tuesday due to rolling industrial action over safety concerns with the Korean-built new train sets and wage growth. Tuesday also marks statewide teacher and principal strikes over recruitment of new teachers and non-competitive wages, as they say. Some local teachers and principals travelled to Sydney to join a large march on state parliament. State Education Minister rebuffed the teachers' actions that went against the Fair Work Commission's approvals. And Wednesday marked lunchtime rallies by local health workers over patient staffing and patient safety and staffing ratios. We spoke to some of the health workers about their grievances.
Being able to do what I want to do as a nurse, it's getting to a point where it's too unsafe. Things can't go on the way they are. We need change, and we need change now.
So it's been an increasing problem in this hospital for quite a few years, and it's existed before COVID. But we have noticed a big decline in the amount of staff that are available on the floor for safe staffing.
I am almost a third-year registered nurse, and I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm already over nursing, and it was originally something I was quite passionate about doing, passionate about giving care to patients.
Well, various state government ministers will have their work cut out for them over the summer to resolve these disputes. And online trolling and social media companies will be a focus of a federal government public inquiry over the summer. Here's Macy with more details on that.
Member for Robertson Lucy Wicks will chair a new inquiry into big tech and online safety as part of the federal government's aim to crack down on trolling on social media. As part of the very broad inquiry, the House of Representatives Select Committee will look into online safety and what tools are available for use, along with algorithms and policies that big tech could employ. The committee is due to report its findings by February 15th. Locals were told they could make their submissions into the inquiry by visiting the Australian Parliament's website. However, nearly 2 weeks after the inquiry was first announced, that page is still not yet accessible.
The great thing about this inquiry, it's a great vehicle for all Australians to have their say. For young Australians who perhaps have had an experience that is one that we would never want them to have and certainly don't want repeated, to be able to use that and to share their story in order to create change for good.
State government has an updated regional plan for the Central Coast 2041. It was announced this week with Parliamentary Secretary Adam Crouch as well as planning and business group representatives. Curiously and perhaps symbolically, the council was not involved in the announcement as the assertive state government has taken over where council left off. And the World Surfing League series has come to an end with heartbreak full for most poignantly for Molly Picklum, missing out on the championship tour qualifications by the very slimmest of margins. Picklum reached within one single placement of qualification during her fourth semi-final when she required just a third place to qualify. With the priority in the final minute, Picklum required a 5.57 to push back up into second place and to qualify ultimately for the final. And her last attempt began with 30 seconds on the clock, but her first snap back had too much power, she lost control and fell off her board. Condolences. And the Mariners face their old rival Sydney FC in Sydney for the fourth away game in a row in the A-League. The players will be busting for a win after this last weekend's unfortunate 0-1 loss to Macarthur FC that saw number one keeper Mark Berrigitti red-carded. Whilst encouraging to see Daniel Da Silva and Oliver Bozanic score their first goals, saw it openly after their first season, it was equally disheartening to see them do it for the other team. But that's football. Mariners fans can look forward to the first home game at the stadium in Gosford next Saturday evening against Western Sydney Wanderers.
Thanks, Dave. And in breaking news, Australian of the Year Grace Tame, who is due to speak in Terrigal this Saturday, has advised that she'll be now unable to attend due to new COVID-19 restrictions in Tasmania. She will now be beamed into the event live from her home. All of these stories and thousands more can be found on our news website without a paywall or in this week's Coast Community News, Coast Community Chronicle and the Pelican Post. Remember to subscribe to all of our YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify and Instagram pages for updates throughout the week, and keep an eye out for Sky Hall's video updates. We leave you this week with vision from Coast Opera Australia's Night of Enticements held at Central Coast Stadium. Patrons were left stunned by the quality international performances held in the rafters of the stadium well out of the rain. We hope you have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.